Good afternoon, everybody. It's Lisa with Undermine Propaganda. It is June 4th, 2026, Thursday afternoon. First, thank you so much to everyone that has watched, listened, subscribed, comment. I greatly appreciate it, and I love the feedback. Thank you so much, you guys. All right. You often hear that the elite, the 1% or the 0.1% is disconnected from the average person. And I truly believe disconnected is an understatement. I think these people, literally because of the environment that they grew up in, the environment that they live in, the unaccountability, the vast amounts of wealth and power that they have accumulated, is turning them into a different species, or has turned them into a different species. They're not like us. They just are not like us. And a story that came out this week about, I don't know if any of you guys have seen it, Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner purchasing an island in Albania. And boy, has it caused an uproar in Albania. There are protests, thank goodness about it, all over. These people are fighting back. They don't want these elite monsters to steal their land. Because that's what these people do. They steal land. That's what the elites do again and again and again. They ruin the environment. They plunder the earth. They slaughter people and they steal land. And this is what they're trying to do in Albania right now. And there are now legal battles against this. Thank goodness. But let's listen to these people talk. Just how they talk about things. It's beyond disconnection. So here is Ivanka in a short clip discussing the purchase of this island in Albania.
I'm working on an incredible project with my husband in the Mediterranean. It's massive in scale.
I think that's an understatement. Can you explain?
Yes, it is.
There's no power on this island. You're building everything from scratch, correct?
Well, it's an unbelievable, beautiful 1,400 hectare private island in the middle of the Mediterranean. We were on a friend's boat and we stopped for a swim. Effectively, that's how we found it. We swam to the island.
Okay, first of all, you didn't discover this island. You talk as though you discovered the island. You people, you just think you're superior to everyone and everything in every way. And that's the problem. That's the problem. You didn't discover the island. The island existed long before you did. Let's continue here.
We went on a hike, barefoot all the way up to the top, and we were just captivated. And it stayed with us ever since. And over the course of many years, we developed the opportunity to help realize its potential and transform it. But
okay, how did you develop the opportunity? The way they phrase things and frame things, develop the opportunity. You bribed, you coerced, you bought off people. Develop the opportunity. Okay, I developed the opportunity by torturing someone to give me all their money. So I developed the opportunity to get more money. These people,
with a lot of restraint and care, because the land is so beautiful that really the architecture has to be fully integrated into it, almost rise from it. It's not even a business for me, despite the scale of it. We not only the island, but we have 5 miles of beachfront directly across from the island, this beautiful peninsula with a lagoon on one side, the ocean on the other, beautiful white sand beaches. For me, it feels more like a challenge than anything else. The culmination of all of my experience in real estate, all of my travel, a lot of reflection on how I want to live, how I think people increasingly are wanting to live. And
my reflection, she's a Stoic philosopher now, as well as a discoverer of land, but also a Stoic philosopher, and discovered how people want to live. How people want to live? People want to be able to buy groceries. People want to have shelter. People want to not work several jobs just to try to pay the rent. People just want to survive and have some peace of mind, not buy private islands and coerce a country into allowing you to control their land. No. Average people don't want what you want, Ivanka. They don't.
And trying to really build something that's a tangible manifestation of that. That requires a lot of vision, the collaboration of some of the greatest masters that exist. So I was just there walking the land, really just trying to sort of be with it and experience it alongside some of the greatest living architects of our time, like true masters of their craft, people with integrity so absolute, like there will be no compromise. And that's something we want to create there. So we're very excited.
Integrity so absolute. They won't want to compromise. You don't know what integrity is, Ivanka. You grew up in an environment completely void of integrity, completely void of shame. So you don't know what it is. I don't know. And honestly, it's enraging even listening to what they're doing and then listening to how they talk about it on top of what they do is, if it doesn't make you angry, there is something wrong with you. I'm sorry. And here's another example. I don't know if any of you have seen this. This is a clip from a couple years ago, as in which the genocide is ongoing in Gaza, by the way. So I don't want to act like it's not here. But this is from a couple years ago, right in the middle of the heaviest part of the bombing and starvation and slaughter in Gaza. And here's Jared talking about how he feels about the situation and where his mind is at during this time period. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Now, this is from The Guardian. Like I said, it's a little over 2 years ago, March 2024. So let's go ahead and hear how Jared thinks about things during the middle of a genocide that's being committed with our support, with our tax dollars, and with our bombs.
In Syria, when there's refugees, Turkey took them, Europe took them, Jordan took them. For whatever reason, here in Gaza, there's refugees from the fighting, from an offensive attack that was staged from Gaza. Israel's going in to do a long-term deterrence mission. And it's unfortunate that nobody's taking the refugees.
But also there are real fears on the part of Arabs, and I'm sure you talk to a lot of them, who think once Gazans leave Gaza, Netanyahu's never going to let them back in.
Maybe, but I'm not sure there's much left of Gaza at this point. So, if you think about even the construct, Gaza was not really a historical precedent, right? It was the result of a war, right? You had tribes that were in different places, and then Gaza became a thing. Egypt, used to run it, and then, over time, you had different governments that came in different ways. So you have another war. Usually when wars happen, borders are changed historically over time. And so my sense is I would say, how do we deal with the terror threat that is there, so that it cannot be a threat to Israel or to Egypt, right? I think that both sides are spending a fortune on military. I think neither side really wants to have, a terrorist organization enclaved right between them. And Gaza's waterfront property, it could be very valuable to, if people would focus on kind of building up.
First of all, the terrorists aren't the people in Gaza. Those are the people being terrorized by Israel. So let's get that out of the way. But as we know, Jared is a Zionist through and through. Zionist. He supports this genocide. He supports the fact that he believes Zionists are superior to everyone, on top of the fact that he's the 1% or the 0.1% of the elite that thinks that they are superior to all of us and everyone in every way, and that they can do whatever they want to the earth, to the environment, and to all the humans that reside on it. His mind isn't about the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of innocent human beings that are being sexually assaulted, that are being starved to death, that are being slaughtered, like I said, with our money and our bombs. His mind is thinking about how beautiful that waterfront property is that he can develop and make money from, and just continue accumulating money and power. It is absolutely disgusting. And this new endeavor trying to buy the island, Sazan is the name of the island, by the way. In fact, let's look really quick just at a little bit of this article that talks about the island they're right now trying to purchase. And shout out to The Guardian, or I'm sorry, The Independent, that reported this out. What date this was? This is a few days ago. Maria Butt reported this out. Protests have broken out in Albania over Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner's $1.4 billion purchase of the abandoned island of Sazan, a communist area military base. Apparently, Ivanka, you didn't discover it, was being used back in the Soviet communist era, as a military base. In addition to the strip, the couple's deal also includes a $4.7 billion agreement on part of the protected coastal landscape. Albania's government has championed the Adriatic Coast development as a transformative venture for the nation, aiming to boost its high-end tourism sector and support its bid for European Union membership. But the project on the lush island and stretch of seafront on Albania's southern coast, referred to by Trump as a fixer-upper, has sparked criticism from environmental groups and detractors of the long-serving socialist Prime Minister Edi Rama. Now, in their government, there is a lot of corruption in Albania. And through this corruption, opened the door for Jared and Ivanka to try to sneak this deal through. And thank goodness there is a ton of pushback, and now there are legal battles, and there are thousands of people in Albania protesting against this. So the people are fighting back. President Trump's daughter said she and her husband discovered the area while on a hike. Oh God, that just gets to me. We were on a friend's boat and we stopped for a swim. Effectively, that's how we found it, she said. We swam to the island. We went on a hike barefoot all the way up to the top, and we were just captivated. After the widespread backlash, Prime Minister Rama insisted in an interview with CNN Thursday, there is not a project yet. There is no such thing as a Trump family island, he added. There is no such thing as the family of the American president taking over protected areas where flamingos will be killed by them. Nevertheless, Sazan has already been dubbed Trump Island by angry locals who have made their displeasure at the reported deal clear. Below, we take a closer look at the island with its 3,600 nuclear bunkers, unexploded weapons, bomb shelters, and miles of tunnels. So let's go down here real quick. Just a quick overview. Sazan Island is home to at least 3,600 Soviet-style nuclear bunkers built during the Cold War. The mushroom-shaped shelters are situated sporadically across the island, and Kushner has said they plan to incorporate the bunkers into their plans for the tourist resort, and that some of the shelters will be preserved. Now, it's definitely worth reading that entire article. I will put a link in the description. But when you start reading about the size and scope of this piece of property, and the fact that there are bunkers underground, and there's a hospital underground, and there's all these things underground. Now, why do they really want it? Why do they want it? Are they doing what it seems many of these elites are doing? Buying private islands so they can escape when things just get too much and people finally revolt? Is it another Epstein Island? There's been speculation about that. I don't know. You know, what I can say is that from what we now know about these people, the most horrific thing that I imagine in my mind, or the most horrific thing that you imagine in your mind, probably wouldn't even be close to what their actual intentions and motivations are for these kinds of things, for this thing in particular. So, more will be revealed. But I'll tell you what, like I said, these people are just a different species. And I truly believe we are in the fight of our lifetimes. The fight in maybe history, I don't know. But for sure generations. That if these people are not stopped, if the Zionists are not stopped, if these elites are not stopped, they will destroy the earth, they will destroy the environment, and they will destroy humanity. They are that evil and that dark, and they exist in this world with no shame, and that is a dangerous place to be. They have no shame, and there's no one to hold them accountable because they have so much wealth and power. All right, well, like I said, I will put a link in the description to that article. So it's an interesting read. There's a bunch of articles that are now coming out with more details about this as this story continues to break. And also, a real quick follow-up, there is a vote in Congress on the legislation that they were trying to push through on the last video that I did about Israeli military trying to merge with our military, Section 224 in the NDAA, that they're trying to sneak through. They are trying to stop it. There's a resolution today that they're voting on, so there's a really important vote, and I will follow up with that and watch and see what happens. Hopefully they vote it down and stop that too. Another dystopian thing that's going on right now among many to keep an eye on and pay attention to. All right, guys, I hope you find some peace in the rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, comment if you found anything of interest in this video. And I will talk to all you guys soon. Thanks so much. Bye.